Hello guys, Nithyanandam. Welcome back to the Kundalini Yogini. This is Prasiddha. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that the live stream is working now. I actually was just live streaming and realized it was not viewable, so hopefully it's good to go now. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys today an experience that I had actually this last April, and it was a very powerful, profound experience that I had, and it lasted for about 14 hours. So this was a Satori experience, and what that kind of means, just so you guys who are familiar with this kind of Eastern terminology, my guru explained the difference between a Satori experience and a Samadhi experience, as Satori is like a glimpse of that space of pure oneness, of that enlightenment space, but it goes away, it doesn't sustain. So I had an experience like this, but so it only lasted 14 hours, sadly, that time around, but it was so profound and beautiful. And basically what happened was, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, I shared this experience in April in written text form, but I've never made a video about it or talked about it here on my YouTube. So I wanted to share with you guys to let you guys know this experience, and then I can answer all your guys' questions about this or about whatever else that you wanted to ask me about. Nithyanandam, everyone. Thank you guys for saying hello and watching. So yes, in April I was driving in my car and nothing out of the ordinary was happening. Nothing I was specifically thinking about. I wasn't trying to obtain any state like that. I wasn't meditating, nothing. And hello, John and Robin. And I was just driving in my car. All of a sudden, I just noticed that instead of having thoughts coming in and out like I normally would, especially when I'm alone driving, a lot of thoughts are going to be coming and going, right? I kind of just like use that time for thinking of ideas and thoughts about the day. But all of a sudden, I didn't have any thoughts coming in and out. I didn't notice any traffic flow happening inside of my inner space. And all of a sudden, I was like observing that there was this deep silence inside of me, that it was just sitting so powerfully, so still inside. And from that space, this is the only way I can describe it, I was feeling this overwhelming gratitude and love, but not in the way of like an emotional feeling. It wasn't like a normal emotion. I've definitely, of course, as most of you guys have experienced those higher emotions many times throughout our days and throughout our life, but this was different. This was a totally different level that I hadn't experienced in quite some time, and it was so strong that I could see everything around me, how remarkable it was. It was like suddenly I could see things clearly in a way that I hadn't before. It felt like as if I was colorblind, my whole life, and all of a sudden I'm seeing color. That's how it felt. And so as I was just driving, or again just on the road, looking at everything around me, I just was in awe. I was in this pure awe of this whole world and how it functions, and all of the independent intelligence that runs this, and all of the beings that are a part of it, all of the consciousnesses that are a part of this world, and even the trees and the cars. I could feel their independent energies and existences, especially with the like different plants, and especially with the people that I was encountering. So after my drive, I got out of the car. I had to go to this appointment that I had booked, and I was at this point where I didn't even know how I could interact with someone in a normal situation because that experience was so powerful. I didn't even know how I could be in a normal interaction with a human being because it was so overwhelming. I was like, how can I have a conversation right now? I felt like I couldn't even speak, but I just kind of was in this flow state, and I said, I'm just gonna ride with all these things that I was planned to do. So I walked into this office. I actually had this Ayurveda appointment was before, like right as I was a new student at school, and I walked into the office, and I remember just every small interaction with these strangers, like the person that checked me in the office, and the nurses that I talked to, and the doctor that I met. All of them are strangers to me, but I felt like just this overflowing love and connection towards them. I was just so grateful for that those little fleeting moments of speaking to that other being, and just all of those little encounters, they were so meaningful. I could just see the life inside of them, and it was so it was overwhelming. I was at this point where I felt like tears were coming into my eyes, that I felt so much overwhelming love towards everything, and this feeling sustained. It wasn't just even an hour or two. That's what I was really curious about. I was just wondering how long this will last, and I wasn't even having inner thoughts as this was happening. As I said, I was kind of just flowing through. It was like I was just being guided to the next places that I was supposed to go, but I wasn't thinking about it. And so many things happened throughout my day, which is even crazy to think back now, because they were so pertinent to my life now, which I didn't even realize when the experience was happening. For example, later in that day, I had an interview with the lady who is now basically my main employer, and basically my family member as well. I love her so much. An amazing Indian woman whom I nanny her daughter and everything, and so many things came together that day. Now looking back on it, that was the day I was in this complete Satori state, where I was having this profound spiritual experience when nobody around me really knew until I explained it later. And then after that, I remember I just wanted to be outside, so I took myself to the beach, and I had this opportunity, and I just felt, wow, what an opportunity, let me move myself here. And so I went down to the shore, and I sat under a tree, and I was just sitting there for a few hours, watching the sun, watching the waves, watching the people around me. And the funniest thing happened too. As I was just sitting there, I started having all of these animals attracted to me. It was crazy. So one by one, all these little squirrels and little chipmunks and a few birds started coming closer to me. And it wasn't just one or two, it started like that, and then they started accumulating, and I had seriously like 10 squirrels all around me, and they were getting so close to me, not just like a few feet away from me. They were so close to me that they were trying to come onto my body. So I was kind of like moving my hands so they would shy away a little bit. They were all encroaching on me, and there was a few birds as well, and I was just laughing like, this is hilarious, like this is my experience right now. And it was so beautiful, and I just had so much stillness inside. It was such an immense experience and so powerful. And I remember I just felt so grateful to Paramashiva, whom I consider the source and my guru, because in that space too of just pure thoughtlessness and pure oneness, I felt nothing other than very strong clarity of who was delivering this experience to me, which is my guru, and he was gifting this to me, and for whatever reason he was giving me a taste of this space to revamp, my life and my spiritual seeking again. And so yes, that was my experience, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm sure maybe some of you have had similar experiences, which would be wonderful to hear about. And yes, this wasn't the first time I've had this type of experience, but I would say it's probably the longest lasting I've had, because again, it lasted for 14 straight hours where I did not come out of that space. And I thought that interacting with normal situations of life would kind of rip me out of that space, but it didn't. I had so many times where I had to talk to people, go about my business, communicate, and it didn't rip me out of that space. And so that was what was so cool to me, that it was just being sustained through all of this, and it was so powerful. So yes, that is my experience of that Satori time of my existence. And you guys can now feel free to ask me any questions that you have, and on this or about anything else, and I'm going to answer them for the next few minutes or so. And I'm just going to scroll back to the ones that I missed while I was telling my story, so give me 1 second, guys. Thank you for the love from Scotland, John. And no, I didn't get new dreads. These are the ones I've had forever. I mean, for the last 3 years. Yes. Yes, I do know Vishuddha Das is what he goes by now. Yes, yeah. I've chatted with him just briefly, but I don't know him personally. So Monday's box, you were saying that you used to have experiences like this, but You feel really lost right now. How do you get back to a position, a better position when it feels right now so hard to do things which make you feel better? Yeah, I think that I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. I think there's a lot of moments of our life where we feel stuck and it feels super, super hard to do things we know are good for us. And you know, the funny thing is, a lot of times on the path, we already know what the answer is, right? We already know what the solution is. But the problem is that we have this resistance to finding it, to implementing the solution, because there's some part of us which is holding on to that low space, that's holding on to that suffering, or that's holding on to that sadness, or that's holding on to the laziness or the tiredness or the boredom, whatever it may be, right? And in my experience, I'm just sharing from my experience, sometimes we have to get to that low space to really slap ourselves and wake up and really say, I'm tired of this. I've had enough. I do know the solution. I don't want to live one more day like this, you know? And even I shared in some older videos this year that I had a time like this earlier in this year where I just felt for like a month or two that I felt so stuck and so low. But I remember I woke up one day and I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I have a choice today to either continue feeling like this or to feel happy, to feel powerful, to feel differently. Do I really want to choose the former or the latter? And I just decided I don't want to feel low anymore, so let me lift myself up. It really sometimes takes that ferocious decision, ultimately at the end of the day. It's just that strong decision to pick yourself up when you've fallen, you know? And nobody else can do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. So I hope that helps a little bit. And of course, the more that you surround yourself with people that are going to help uplift you as well and surround you with activism and responsibility and positive thinking and powerful thinking, that will naturally help you as well. Where am I? Yes, I have done LSD before, but I've shared about that actually I have 2 videos where I've shared about that. So if you want to hear about that, you can definitely go back to those older videos. Will I be going to IA in Trinidad? No, I'm not going to be attending IA. I'm going to be here in the US. No, this is not my first stream, by the way. Stratagon? No, this is, I think, my 3rd or 4th live stream that I've done now. Although I don't do them enough, I will definitely try to be doing them more for you guys, because they're really fun to do, because I love getting to live chat with you and answer your questions directly. Ayande, you asked, is Satori some kind of Zen experience and how is it achieved? Yes, some people explain it as some type of a Zen experience, but it's like almost like a glimpse of a samadhi state, but it just doesn't sustain. So when you reach samadhi and then it lasts, you know, for however long or forever, Satori is like a glimpse of that experience. It's that complete stillness, I would say, inside, and you're experiencing a pure oneness with the life around you, like a pure connection to all the different consciousnesses. You don't just experience yourself anymore as that consciousness, I would explain. And no, you can't really, I would say you can't do anything to achieve it. I mean, in my experience and what I've read of so many great masters, even like Yogananda and Vivekananda and Ramakrishna, it's gifted. It's an experience that's gifted to a being. No matter how much spiritual practice you do, which is wonderful, and that helps impact your body and mind, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's these experiences are just gifted to us by the divine. I truly believe. Robin, that's awesome. Yes, animals are definitely very, very drawn. They can feel energy for sure. It's really cool that dogs keep getting drawn to you. I've had that experience as well. Andreas, this happened in April of this year, so that's like 7 months ago or 6 months ago, something like that. Can you share more on body detoxification? Asked Maria. Yes, I definitely will be. I'm actually going to be making today I'm filming after this live stream. I'm going to be making a video on the 3 doshas of Ayurveda, and then I'm going to be making much more videos on many different dimensions of the Ayurvedic science, which is hugely based in detoxification of the body. So I'll be sharing a lot more about that with you on this channel as we go forward. Paisano, you were asking, do you believe that astral projection is real and not an hallucination? I do believe, I think there's definitely, you have to be able to differentiate between when something is more just like a dream versus when you're actually astral projecting, but I think it is pretty clear once you've had the experience, the difference between the two, because you are completely consciously aware. It's a totally different experience than just being in a dream state. So I do believe that most of the time people can differentiate and do know when it's real or not. John was sharing that he felt a beautiful love beyond this quantum healing session a couple of weeks ago. Felt like channeling a source of love. Yes, absolutely. It's very powerful experience of that pure love, you know, that love without reason, without cause, is just there. It's just there effortlessly. Can you or your husband make a yoga video for beginners? Said Koti Lin. So one of the reasons we don't just put out a ton of yoga sequences, although Drita is working on putting out more workout videos and some asana sequences, is because within our path of yoga, of Nithyananda yoga, the Prathama Vinyasa Krama, which is the first 108 asana sequence, is meant to be done every single day, and it's meant to be consistently done and not really modified in particular. So that's why we don't necessarily just dish out a bunch of different yoga asana sequences, because we follow that. We want to follow that authentically and learn and teach and learn from our guru in that way, and share that with you guys directly and not dilute it, you know what I mean? Yes. Okay, so how do you think animals around you saw you at that moment? Francisco asked. You know, good question. I'm sure, maybe the only thing I could answer is maybe they saw me as I saw them, which was just like this another extension of my consciousness, of myself, again in that kind of oneness state. But who knows what they're experiencing from their body? I don't know. Thank you, Lucas. Love and respect to you too. Oh, you're in Stratejans in southern Germany. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Francisco, good question. He was asking also, did I lose the sense of time when I was in that space? Yes, absolutely, I did. I really did not even perceive time whatsoever. Only afterwards I knew when it started, because I was driving to an appointment, which helped me know that it was a 14-hour experience. So it was only afterwards that I calculated how long that it lasted. Yes, Dead House Gates was saying he had Satori before and it just comes up. Yeah, I agree. It does. It just happens. It's like an instantaneous a spontaneous happening for sure. When you take Uncovering Hindustan asked, when you take a spiritual path, how do you handle your expenses? You know, I truly believe that's completely up to an individual. If right, as explained in the Vedas, we have Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So unless you're in a sannyasi path, earning money and following Dharma is absolutely a part of our paths as grihastas, as householders. And so whatever that we feel is fulfilling that purpose for ourselves and for others, I believe is the best way to spread that enlightenment to one another and to uplift consciousness. And that's naturally going to bring in wealth as well, because whenever we're enriching or contributing to the world, wealth follows us. Oh, I'm getting lost in these comments. Okay, hey, it's Michael was asking, this might not be relevant, but I'm starting my journey to Hinduism and was wondering if you had any tips. Wow, this is always, I get asked this quite a lot. It's a tough one because it's such an immensely vast culture slash way of life slash spiritual path slash religion. It's not just one of those, and so it's extremely vast. But honestly, the number one thing I recommend to people is directly reading the Sanskrit scriptures. I would highly recommend even people's interpretations of them. You lose a lot in translation. So if you can read directly the Vedas and Agamas of Hinduism, you can, one really great source is HimalayanAcademy.com. They have a lot of translated into English Sanskrit texts, and you will see and learn so much so quickly by going directly to that source. So I hope that helps. Is there a Nithyananda temple in Trinidad? Yes, there is, Anton. There is a center there. There has been for quite some time. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but yes, there is one. So I believe if you search it online, you'll be able to find it. Varen was asking, what did I learn from Radhanath Swami? I don't think I didn't necessarily learn anything new, but I was absorbing his space definitely and his bhakti, and I just thought what he was sharing was really beautiful, and the message that he was spreading. I don't think it was necessarily something new that I haven't heard before from my own guru or from other masters that I've read about, but he's a very eloquent speaker, and he radiates that space of pure love. So it was a gift to see him speak, that's for sure. Can I do a video teaching about Lakshmi? Lucas was asking. Yes, I can definitely do. I've spoken about her a little bit, but I could definitely make a video, dedicated to her. She's definitely she's probably the top form of Devi which I connect with, so yes, I would love to do that. Varen, you can take yourself out of the comments if this is not something which is interesting to you. So Monday's box. I'm in college right now, and I can really relate to your experiences. It's hard to live the path in this environment, but I'm scared to just drop the expectations. Do you have advice, please? Yes, it's definitely a challenging environment. I absolutely understand that. If you have made it to the very beginning of my old channel videos, I was filming those when I was in college, and so it was an interesting time because, we learn a lot in the face of diversity and challenges and in the unknown and when we're uncomfortable. And so I would just say do your absolute best to find and surround yourself with people who will support your spiritual path. So, sometimes we just don't, we're in an environment and we think that nobody will be there that understands us, but we're usually wrong. Look up if there's a meditation club at your school, even if there's a Hindu organization at your school, or whatever that path that you follow in particular, you can look that up. But almost every single school I've seen nowadays has some type of meditation or yoga club. So that could be a great place to start to get to know people in your community and feel more surrounded by like-minded people and individuals. And then you can even look up nearby, I don't know where your school is, but in your city or in that town that your college is in, look up similar events like that, spiritual gatherings, or vegan food festivals, or special Hindu holidays, or yoga or meditation events, and you'll start to create a community around yourself. That's the best way to, I think, sustain ourselves in the journey. Okay. Tiger Sharma, have you heard of Bhagavad Gita, and do you believe in karma and previous births? Yes, yes, of course. Bhagavad Gita was one of the first books I read many years ago when I was starting this path. Highly recommend that for anyone new to Hinduism as well. And yes, I do believe in karma and past lives, but I do believe in karma, that karma is mistaught in a lot of, or misunderstood in a lot of different ways. As I've gotten to learn about it, I've understood that it's not just this cycle, oh, you do something bad, you're gonna have something bad happen to you. It's our patterns. It's our actual actions and our choices every single day that can rewrite our karma. It's never something that we're stuck in. It's never something that is out of our power to change. And I think that's something which I hope people start to understand, that it's not just something which locks us in, it's predestined, but that it's something we can always take into our own hands. Fred was asking, what's the most bizarre experience I've had? Transcendent experiences I've had? I don't know. What's the most bizarre one I've had? That's an interesting question. I will have to think about that for some time and get back to you, okay? Oh gosh, I got lost again here. Okay. Do you agree that our soul is divine and connected to ultimate consciousness? Yes, 1000%. That is, if anything, I would say that is the main motto or mission statement of this channel, is absolutely that, Tiger. So yes, that is very much the only thing I really wish to spread and teach, is helping everyone understand they are absolutely 1000% a part of the cosmic consciousness and divine in exactly what we are as of now. It's from South Korea. That's awesome. Great to have you here. Han Saraju was asking, what's the difference between IA and Mahasada Shivoham? I would say it's just Swamiji's always really upgrading and evolving the programs and even the content of the programs. So Inner Awakening, when I was first in the programs, was very much about the completion process and doing a lot of internal healing and going through all of our past incidences and really releasing and healing them. Whereas now it's moved much more towards power manifestation and powerful cognitions, powerful understandings, because it's like a constant evolution, right? We're always getting upgraded, so we can't just stick with the same technique for our whole life, because then we'll just be stuck in that technique, right? And so that's what Swamiji's always evolving. Okay, have I done Vipassana? Utpal was asking. I've not ever done a Vipassana like set time or retreat, no. I would love to experience that though. Although there was definitely glimpses of that experience that I've had just through my time in India living there, but I've never done an actual Vipassana retreat, so hopefully I can do one soon. Okay. Koti Lin was asking, is there a temple in the US? Yes, we have many centers and temples in the US. In almost, I would say at least half the states, we have multiple temples and centers throughout. By the way, sorry guys for anyone here who's actually just here to listen or ask questions. I just want to apologize on behalf of people who are trying to waste the time of this live stream. The reason I don't answer to it, not because I don't have an answer to it. I hope that everyone knows that. I choose not to respond is my response, because I don't entertain things which have no basis in reality, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. So I'm removing some of the nasty stuff right now, just so for everyone's peace and state of mind. Okay. Have I ever tried Shambhavi Mudra, Mahamudra? Yes. That's actually part of our yoga that we do every single day within Nithyananda Yoga. So I've been doing it for last few years now, very often. It's a very powerful mudra. And Lord Shiva was asking, do I still do Netra Shuddhi daily? Yes, I do. Although sometimes I sometimes do, instead of neti, if I don't do neti rinse, I do Nasya oil. So in Ayurveda, the other way you can cleanse the nasal passage is through Nasya oil. So I use that sometimes as well, especially when it's cooler out. So I don't want to agitate. I'm already Vata, so I get cold easily. So I sometimes use that Nasya oil in place of the neti. Okay. So Altaikan, I don't know how to say your name. There's a new controversy with multiple people telling that Swamiji uses dark energy to do his miracles. Yeah, again, sorry, I addressed this in my video. I'm not going to take too much time to address this kind of stuff. It's completely not based in reality. People are looking for a lot of views and attention on social media. All I can tell you is, like years ago when I was starting YouTube, I was watching what other people do, and I saw that writing about cults, speaking about cults, talking about that topic gets people viral on YouTube. So that's all you really need to know. People do things for different motives. Everyone should be aware of that. Okay, so Leaves is asking, sorry, I'm not really sure of your question. If you want to reword it, I'll try to get back to that. Okay. Max, yes, I'm a Hindu. Yes, I have been for about 4 or 5 years now. Oh, Monday's Box. I don't know your real name, but thank you for that. That's really awesome to hear. I hope that I see you soon, and best of luck to you in Indiana finding your empowering community around you as well. Alan, no, I don't own a manifested diamond, but because I never really cared to have one, but I've caught them multiple times, like in my hands, as they've been materialized out of Mahayoga's mouth. So I don't take anyone else's word for it. I've literally been the one to catch them as they fell out of her mouth, and be the one who brings her the water and the bananas and everything else, which people say is how the power is faked. I was the one that got them, so I know for a fact there was nothing hidden inside of them, nothing faked, and I was the one that caught them, the materialized gems. And they're always completely dry when they come out of her mouth. Like, literally not even saliva is on them. So to the touch, you can immediately touch them. There's no wetness, no saliva, which doesn't make any sense medically speaking. So yes, very powerful stuff. Camille, can you talk about Haritaki? Yes, so Haritaki is one of the most powerful herbs within yoga and Ayurveda. It's considered actually the #1 Rasayana herb, which means a rejuvenation herb, or what we kind of would consider anti-aging. So it can be cured. It's talked about in the Charaka Samhita, saying that you can cure almost every disease with Haritaki, just Haritaki alone. It's amazing for basically converting prana into your body and making it usable to all the different tissues in your body. So it's the most powerful herb to convert prana, the life force energy, into us. So as a yogi or as a spiritual practitioner, it is the most important herb I would say you could take in terms of spiritual practice, because of that ability to absorb the prana in your system. So highly recommend, if you haven't started taking it, to get up on that Haritaki life. It's very powerful stuff. Okay, hi from Miami, Sumatis. Okay, sorry. Oh, I finally made it to the live comments. Wow, that took me a while to scroll through them all. Oh goodness. Okay. Okay. Haritaki. Oh, Sydney. Hi. Okay, that's great to know. Thank you for telling me your name. Okay. So Rasayana. So sorry, I cannot say your username, but yes, thank you for saying that. Yes, many Hindus feel ashamed or fear of being judged for going out in public and with a bindi or other things like that. Absolutely. Yeah, I can completely understand. We live in a world where it is tough sometimes to express difference, especially when it's not Western, current trendy things, which is totally opposite from the tradition of Hinduism, and so I find that it's very liberating, though, to step out of what people say about us, how people judge us, whatever that it may be, right? And to own things which matter to us, the things that are important to us. And I realized a while ago that it mattered more to me at the end of the day to not die with the regret of not having done something I know is of immense spiritual benefit and impact to me, and I feel called to do it, such as wearing kumkum on the third eye, just because I was worried what somebody would say, I don't want to die with that type of regret in my life. And that was kind of what drove me to realize that these are little silly things which we let impact us, and ultimately we're also doing a disservice to ourselves and to others, because we aren't showing up authentically. We're kind of hiding ourselves, and it just creates this vicious cycle of of no one around us feeling free to express themselves, to be who they are. So that's what I hope to share, you know, and I hope that all of us can do that in our lives. Okay, so much love, Prema Karini. Beautiful name, beautiful username. Okay, so how do you heal porn addiction? That's a good question. I think that absolutely gets to the root of the deep, deep impressions and incompletions that we have regarding our own sexuality. It takes a lot of going back into the root of our beliefs about our own self and how much we've explored our own gender identity. And if we're actually willing to face that without fear, to get to really look into who am I? What do I feel is my energy on the inside and on the outside? Do I feel more masculine? Do I feel more feminine? Do I feel like I'm both? Do I honestly feel attracted to men, or do I feel attracted to women? Whatever it is okay. It's about dropping that complete judgment, and porn is based out of the violence that is instilled in our consciousness around sexuality. And so when we actually get to the root of that violence in ourselves, of all the times we have felt attacked because of our sexuality, or attacked in sexual ways, or suppressed or violated, and we start to heal those incidents in our life, our behavior starts to be more healthy. We won't want to seek out, you know, unnatural things. We won't feel addicted to watching somebody else's expression. We will just live in our own experience, and we'll look for really more authentic connection, real connection, you know, real love versus just that violent energy that is expressed in most porn. I hope that kind of helped. Okay. Did the color of the bindi have different meaning? Can one wear one without being married? Yes, so only culturally speaking, in different parts of India, it became used as a symbol of being married or not. But it changes even regionally in different states of India. That being said, the source of wearing a bindi or marking on the third eye is very diverse. Of the different shapes and the different colors that we wear, they symbolize the different religious traditions or the different devotional paths. For example, red kumkum is often used for Devi, like the Shakti, the divine feminine, and even within Shaivism, we also wear kumkum. And Vibhuti, the sacred ash, whereas in Vaishnavism, they're devotees of Vishnu, they'll usually wear sandalwood paste. It's like a lighter orange color on the third eye. But both of them are the same purpose, which is they're both considered a very sacred and cleansing substance. It's not just any random thing that we're putting there. It's processed turmeric and sandalwood powder, which both help there is subtle pressure on the third eye, which keeps the third eye awakened, and they help to cleanse and detox the skin as they soak into the skin as well. And so just through that alone, they're helping to stimulate and keep our third eye awakened. And they also represent what we believe in. So if you feel that you are Hindu and you're devoted to Lord Shiva or to Devi or to Vishnu, absolutely don't feel it's not a cultural appropriation. If you're using it for fashion, if you're using it to look cool or to be trendy, that's different, right? That's appropriation, and people really, really take that out of context. Absolutely. There's a huge difference between actually being a part of a culture and appropriating a culture. So it depends what the reason is inside of you that you're doing it, you know? The context is really important. Okay. Hi, Ilyas from Singapore. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you. Acknowledging you now. Thank you for being here on the live stream. Okay. Hi from South Africa. Princess Peaches, that's awesome. So great to have you here. It's so cool to see how many people are in all different places around the world. Atul, yes, I will definitely be making more videos with my brother. I love making videos with him. You guys probably know he's such an awesome person to watch. He's the same way he is, by the way, on camera as he is in real life in person. He's the most high energy being ever. He's an amazing being, so I will definitely be putting more videos out with him. Okay. Hi Mark. Yes, I did make a video if you want to hear like my full talk on it, because it really does require like a long time of me explaining the whole context of this whole situation which is happening with all of these allegations. No, we are not friends anymore because she has sadly really severed that and made it impossible to be friends. I wanted nothing more than to be connected with her, but her behavior is not acceptable. What she's doing is not acceptable, and she's also now, sadly, which I was really surprised about, personally dragging me into it and saying accusations about me, which are so outlandish. And so I don't know, it's hard, it's tough. I hope that one day we can be friends again when she gets through this. But yeah, we'll see. Okay. How much Haritaki should be taken? Prasant was asking. Up to a tablespoon a day. Absolutely no more is required. So I would say a tablespoon, maximum 2 tablespoons if you're somehow, for whatever reason, like have a very high spiritual context. But otherwise, you really don't need more than a tablespoon of Haritaki. Ken, yes, you can absolutely do life bliss meditation no matter what. You don't need to be following anything to participate in the meditation. Why is deity worship needed when we can meditate? Deity worship is a huge part of the tradition because it works. It's not for any other purpose but that it's extremely effective in delivering these experiences of higher consciousness, of oneness, and of direct connection to Paramashiva, to Parashakti, to the divine gods and goddesses through physical worship. Because we're in this physical form, relating to a physical form of god or goddess is required because we are, unless we're enlightened, we have not yet realized the formless form of the divine. As long as we still feel some part of us is this body and this mind, it doesn't make any sense to completely reject connecting to form of the different gods and goddesses. Yes, Max, I have heard the exact same thing. Hanuman is still in the body, which is so cool to know about. Hi from Italy, Andreas. Hi, Alberto. Cash was asking about hallucinogens. Yes, I have a video on that if you want to hear my statement on it. Search, I believe it's about LSD and psychedelics, so search my video on my channel and I talk all about that in that video. Hi, Soul Seeker. Yeah, I guess you can watch you can watch his videos if you'd like, but he's pretty biased and I don't know. You can think whatever you want about it, but yes, that's only one part of the story that he's listening to and not absorbing both sides, so. Okay. I'm not deleting comments that don't agree with my agenda. As you can see, there's still many comments here that are not nice. I'm deleting comments if somebody's completely spamming the feed with something which is not at all what this channel is about or for. I'm not going to tolerate intolerance on this channel. That's all. Okay, hey Mark. Mark is asking, do you have any plans to go back to the ashram in the foreseeable future? Yes, absolutely. I'm finishing school definitely for the next 2 years here. After that, I am very, very open, and I know I will be living at least half of my year in India, half here. I will always be called and connected to giving my time to spiritual, to spiritual service. I can't see that not being a part of my life, in throughout my life, especially when we have kids. So yes, that's definitely going to be in the foreseeable future. Okay, good question, Camille. My thoughts on raw food. Yes, so within Ayurveda, raw food is not necessarily considered great. Only fruits can be eaten raw. They're very, very high in prana. They're amazing to eat raw. But vegetables, and especially leafy greens, like what we normally have in the West in salads, are really aggravating especially to vata dosha. So it's not recommended to have raw leafy greens, especially daily. You can have them a few times a week if it's really something you desire, but the best way to eat raw leafy greens or most vegetables is to cook them, steam them, saute them, or add in some spices with them that make them more digestible to the body, because they're harder to digest. Whereas fruit is very okay, it assimilates really easily, it eliminates really easily. Yes, I have visited many other ashrams in India, Uppal. And yes, I go to Montclair Temple all the time. I try to go once a week. It's sometimes more like once every 2 weeks I'm there. So I hope to see whoever's nearby there. It's extremely powerful energy field, an amazing space, and really amazing people there. Like such a cool community, very, very diverse. There's tons of Indians, tons of Hispanic people, tons of white people, tons of Asian people. It's a huge mix, so I love it. It's a lot of different cultures coming together. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take like two more questions and then I'm gonna end this. But yes, what kind of physical happenings happen or healings happen in the ashram? Yes, we have Ayurvedic doctors at the ashram, naturopathic doctors, and then of course the ultimate main healing which happens is spiritual healing, is the energetic healing which happens in the really powerful energy field of the banyan tree, and of course of Swamiji, of an enlightened master, which people have miraculous healings from. But yes, there's also Ayurveda and naturopathy practiced as well. Would I say that fruits and vegetables have more nutrients than meat, Broly? Yes, 1000%. I wouldn't say. I know that they have more nutrients. They're full of vitamins and minerals and good bacteria for the gut, whereas meat is extremely dense in fats and proteins, but very hard on the gut, has a lot of infectious bacteria, which infects the gut, is extremely inflammatory to the body. So in all dimensions, fruits and vegetables are the safest vehicle for human beings to get nutrients. All right, guys, I am going to sign off here. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions. I will do my best to answer them on the next live stream. But Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I truly appreciate your time and your questions. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of your curiosity and your criticism and whatever else was there. I appreciate it. Wish you guys the best on your journey today and this week, and I will see you guys on the next video. Nithyanandam, everyone.